Audiobook summary of The Four Disciplines of Execution.
Achieving Your Wildly Important Goals. Written by Chris McChesney, Sean Covey, and Jim Huling. As a leader, you have a vision and a plan for your organization's future. But the long list of daily tasks that need your attention suffocate any attempt to move forward. This is a situation all business leaders are familiar with. But with a little discipline, you can focus your team's attention and start consistently achieving your goals. The Four Disciplines of Execution is a practical how-to guide to achieving success and ensuring that your team remains focused on your organization's wildly important goals. Offering more than just business theory, the book teaches you how to convert theory into practice, implementing strategies that achieve concrete results again and again. Authors Chris McChesney, Sean Covey, and Jim Huling reveal the four essential principles that help individuals and organizations realize their most important goals. Through a close examination of the four disciplines of execution, known as 4DX, the authors teach you how to avoid the negative, energy-draining distractions that can derail even the best planned project. Drawing on their combined experience in transforming businesses with the Franklin Covey organization, McChesney, Covey, and Huling empower you to conquer the mountain of everyday tasks and reach your goals. You will learn to identify and focus on wildly important goals, or WIGs. Make lead measures a priority. Track performance as a motivational tool. And create accountability. Here are some insights on the four disciplines of execution. New ideas are important, but ideas themselves don't sustain a business. There are myriad small tasks and distractions that go into keeping a business ticking. These small tasks are the nuts and bolts of everyday life. And while necessary, they can become an unmanageable or unmanaged sinkhole into which your team's time and energy disappears. This creates collateral damage in the form of a drained, dissatisfied workforce and a deficiency of time and energy to tackle new ideas. Planned projects aren't nurtured and wither and die. To stop this happening, what your organization needs is to implement the four disciplines of execution. Focus on wildly important goals. To transcend those small, distracting tasks, evocatively described by the authors as the whirlwind of daily life, you must first narrow your focus. The pressure of modern business means you'll be tempted to multitask and keep prodding several projects towards completion. This is ineffective because, as the authors insightfully note, the human brain is hardwired to do just one thing with excellence at a time. Instead, the authors advise you to apply greater energy to fewer goals. Intensify your focus, and you'll begin reaping the rewards of a more disciplined approach. Bringing order to the chaos of your working life, the four disciplines of execution presents a clear, methodical approach to achieving this focus. The first step is to identify your wildly important goal, your WIG. There will likely be more good ideas on the table than you have the capacity to tackle at any given time, so as leader, you must work with your team to select an important, achievable goal on which to focus. The authors encourage you to select a WIG that has the greatest impact on your business. They further develop their analysis of the WIG selection by outlining factors such as having a clear means of measurement and developing a plan for execution. Interestingly, the authors state that while you can reject a WIG, you must never decree a WIG. This is because a team that's involved in the WIG selection will have greater investment, emotional engagement, and commitment to its delivery. This simple, actionable change to how you select and execute a project is indicative of how the 4DX approach can recalibrate your leadership approach and channel your team's energy towards shared, high-impact goals. Lead, don't lag. The authors identify two types of measures, lag measures and lead measures. The former are indicators of historical activities, last week's sales goals, while the latter represents planned actions, next week's sales targets. While traditionally businesses have devoted energy to analyzing lag measures, these activities have already occurred and can no longer be influenced. You may harvest useful data from looking at the lag measures, but the benefit of doing so is limited. Lead measures, on the other hand, can be influenced. They are within your control. Therefore, you should dedicate significantly more time to them. The benefit of focusing more on lead measures becomes clear within the wider context of WIGs. A good lead measure acts like a lever to help move the lag measure. The key is to choose and consistently track the right lever, one that drives the WIG forward. While the general principles outlined in the book are easy to digest, the matter of using leads to drive WIGs is more nuanced and difficult to grasp. This isn't due to a poorly explained argument, but rather due to the complexity of the task itself. To clarify the selection process, the authors set out two main criteria for selecting leads. They must be predictive, that is, they must measure something that leads directly to the achievement of your WIG, and it must be possible for the actions of your team to change the thing being measured. Unlike selecting the WIG itself, finding the lead measures that will help achieve the goal requires more work, and you may not get it right the first time. But by following the author's advice, testing the lead for suitability and its potential to inspire action in your team, you will have started to practice the second of 4 key disciplines. Track your leads. The secret to keeping your team engaged and committed to achieving the goal is to ensure that everyone knows the score. A scoreboard can be any mechanism that tracks the progress of lag and lead measures and should be frequently updated. Doing so stirs healthy competitive instincts in your team, introduces a degree of emotional involvement, and fosters greater commitment to the goal. The authors recommend keeping your scoreboard highly visible and concise, ensuring that essential information can be gleaned at a glance. Similar to the inclusive approach you adopted when selecting a WIG, you must involve your team in the development of the scoreboard. The team should feel ownership of the process. The more involved the team is in choosing, designing, and building the scoreboard, and it can take many forms, the more engaged and committed they will be. Far from representing a source of performance anxiety for your team, the 4 disciplines of execution recast the scoreboard as something to increase team buy-in, commitment, and excitement as a visual representation of your progress takes shape. While the whole concept of WIGs and lead measures ultimately steers your organization at a macro level, it's interesting to note how the authors repeatedly draw you back to involving your team in every step in the process. The takeaway is that while you can craft grand visions for the future, you must still work to engage and inspire your team. Only when everyone is on board will you see significant progress towards achieving your goals. Embrace organizational accountability. The final 4DX discipline is to foster accountability throughout your organization, which in turn allows for execution of your vision. To achieve total commitment to the 4 disciplines, both you and your team must be held accountable, to each other and the organization as a whole. Accountability is crucial to the success of the process. Without it, interest and commitment to the WIG will begin to wane, only to be replaced by low-impact whirlwind activities. To ensure commitment to your WIG, you can organize accountability sessions. These can be formal meetings or informal huddles. Either way, they should be held regularly and involve the whole team. The purpose of these sessions is to create a flow of information between you and your team, which has the effect of validating efforts and consolidating commitment. Accountability should not be individual, but should be shared equally by the team, so that each team member develops a commitment to each other, as well as to the leader and the organization. And because the team members are encouraged to create their own commitments during these sessions, they become publicly accountable, which makes them more determined to follow through. Achieving their next goal becomes personally important and a point of pride. The issue of accountability cements the importance of engaging your whole team in the process. By creating WIG sessions that are enjoyable and relaxed, you will sharpen your team's commitment and drive greater performance. The 4 disciplines of execution repeatedly encourages you to foster ownership of the process throughout your whole organization. This is the strength of the system, because instead of leading by decree, you will become a leader that inspires and works with your team to achieve your WIGs. Put it all together. Here are some disciplines you can apply to ensure you achieve your wildly important goals. First, narrow your focus. There will always be more good ideas than you have time to execute, so you must learn to say no to some of the projects that are up for consideration. Focus your team's energy on achieving 1 or 2 important goals at a time, and relegate other ideas to the back burner until that project has been completed. Don't overschedule, because all areas of the business will suffer if you spread yourself too thin. Remember that you are hardwired to achieve just one task at a time with excellence. Resist the temptation to multitask, as it will only hamper your performance and creativity. Next, track performance. You can learn from lag measures, but most of your energy should be focused on lead measures. These represent the future performance of your organization, which is the only area you can influence. Keep score, track performance, and check in regularly to motivate your team and encourage them to take ownership of the project. WIG sessions, which track progress towards achieving goals, should be enjoyable, relaxed, and viewed as an opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate success. as well as sharpening focus on the wig itself. This will refresh and encourage your team. Finally, be consistent in your approach. The 4 disciplines need to be practiced in every area of your company. Only a unified approach will achieve maximum results, so you must foster accountability and consistency to keep your team engaged. WIG sessions can also be used as a tool for achieving accountability, as well as reinforcing commitment to the goal. These formal meetings or informal huddles are an opportunity for everyone to renew commitment to the 4DX formula. Parting thoughts on the 4 disciplines of execution. Great leaders and motivated teams routinely come up with new ideas and ways to improve their organization's performance. But the day-to-day demands of maintaining a functioning business means that your vision is sometimes placed temporarily on hold while you tend to more mundane tasks. For leaders and individuals who want to increase productivity despite the distractions they encounter, the 4 disciplines of execution presents a concise, practical process you can implement across your entire organization. And through careful, consistent implementation, you too can start achieving your wildly important goals. As the authors affirm, 4DX gives you the knowledge and skills to reignite the passion of your team, to bring focus and discipline to their efforts, and ultimately to help them see that they are winners. In your career, you will never leave a greater legacy than this. Instilling this sense of winning in the people you work with will not only drive a new level of performance in your organization, but will also equip these people with the skills and confidence they need to become winners in every phase of their lives.